Let's dig into the usual hiccups software teams face during development. Got tasks piling up in the states like ready for PR review or ready for QA, board statuses gathering dust. And let's not forget about the classic. How cool it is to keep starting new things and not really finishing any of them. As a freshly baked pro Kanban trainer, I'm inviting you for a little Kanban adventure. Join me to see how adding Kanban practices to the mix can help tackle those challenges. And I'm not saying you need to ditch Scrum, XP, or even Waterfall, or anything you currently do. Think of Kanban as a secret sauce to your meal. You can stick to your original ingredients and savor a whole new flavor of your dish. Let's go! Hi, I'm Maria, and this is the Agile State of Mind. Welcome! Long time no see, right? I've been busy with my lumberjack role in the new home, and I hope you dig the new setup, especially the background. Appreciating the waterfall? Just kidding. Can't beat the mountain view, right? And the yellow tulip touch? Wonderful, right? But let's get back to the topic. Kanban, as described by the Pro Kanban Guide, revolves around 3 fundamental practices. Today, we will delve into practice number 1, defining and visualizing the workflow. Now, let's get one thing straight. Kanban, as defined by the Pro Kanban Guide, is not just another framework or method. It's a strategy for optimizing the flow of value through a process that uses a visual, pull-based system. A strategy for optimizing the flow. Not a framework, not a method. A strategy. That's why it comes into the mix of any other framework or method or methodology that you use, because it's a strategy and it helps optimize the flow. So what exactly does it mean to define and visualize a workflow? Essentially, it entails mapping out the work journey from start to finish. And it's not just for support teams or factory floors. As the Kanban Guide says, Kanban can work with virtually any workflow. Its application is not limited to any one industry or context. Let's take a look at the definition again. The explicit shared understanding of flow among Kanban system members within their context is called a definition of flow, DOW. It's a fundamental concept in Kanban. Thus, hence, many people think that just having a Kanban board that visualizes the workflow is doing Kanban, right? But at least we see that myth has some truth to it. Part truth. Let's examine the key elements of the definition of workflow. Those are the basic elements that we need to have in the definition of workflow to start. Then we can add more and optimize our definition of workflow. 6 elements. 1. Units of value. A definition of the individual units of value that are moving through the workflow. The new units of value are referred to as work items or items. To translate it to the language that we know, it's defining the user stories, the epics or features, whatever it is that we are providing value to our customers. If we are a pizza joint, it would be pizzas. If we are a software company, our value may differ. Creating digital products is a complex endeavor, and for each company, that value might be different. 2. We need to define where we start work and when we finish work. Defined points at which work items are considered to have started and finished. This is very important, so we have a base for what we consider work in progress. WIP. W-I-P. We will see that a lot everywhere. Many people just shorten it to WIP. What is our WIP will be defined by where we start work and where we finish. In a pizza joint, do we start work by getting an order? Or do we start work by making the dough? Do we finish by putting it into oven and taking it out, putting it in the box, or by delivering it to the customer? So all those things need to be mapped out and defined, so we have a clear understanding what we consider work in progress. 3. States of work in progress. One or more defined states that the work items flow through from started to finished. Any work items between a start point and the end point are considered work in progress. WIP. We need to consider what we said before, all the stages through which the work flows from start to finish. In software development, we have development in progress, waiting for PR, in PR, ready for QA, in QA, and so on. It all depends how many stages you want to have. You might only have to do in progress done, and only in progress is actually in progress. That all depends on you and your specific case. 4. Work in progress control. A definition of how work in progress will be controlled from start to finish. How do you control your work in progress so it doesn't get out of hand? And that's what we started from. The usual challenge is that we love starting work. I also love starting work with what I do for the teams. It's so cool to start a new project. But then you notice that it gets complicated, you have to talk to many people, it requires a lot of coordination, and you abandon it at some point and start a new one. Starting is cool, right? So how do we make sure that what we started we actually finish, or we actively decide to abandon it? So we need to create some control and some limit so we don't have too much work in progress. And that doesn't mean you have to have limit for each of the columns. You can just have one overall limit, or however limit you want. It's just good not to get overwhelmed. 5. Definition of the states. Those are explicit policies about how work items can flow through each state from start to finish. Those are really like a definition of done for each of the state of the flow. So you basically understand what needs to be done in each of it, so it's ready for the next. And last but not least, number 6, a service level expectation. It is a forecast of how long it should take for an item to flow from start to finish. This is something that with time, we will get metrics on it and we will understand what is our percentile, like 85% of the time our work items take up to 7 days. That would be cool, right? We also use empiricism here. Like in Scrum, we learn from experience and are able to forecast for the future. Those are the most important things that we need to define and visualize in our workflow. It's not a limited list, you can add to it, but it is a minimum list that you should have. So it can serve you as a guide. How do we visualize them? The old good Kanban board. So again, we have a board, we show our policies, and we can be creative as we want to make sure they are transparent and clear for everybody. You are only limited by your own imagination and creativity. I hope this helped you to understand what are the necessary ingredients to create a workflow. And in the following videos, I will explain the 2 other practices, how to actively manage the items through the workflow, and third one, how do we improve the workflow we have. It's not given once and for all. We need to continuously improve, of course. I'm really happy to be able to share the knowledge with you. And I also want to invite you to join my Pro Kanban training. Let me know in the comments if you'd like an in-person or virtual training, and I can make sure to deliver it to you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.